Well, the World Junior Summer Showcase is in full swing as last year's silver medalist Team Canada gear up to face Team Finland. The team looking to bounce back after a disappointing performance last year. Taylor Radish and company looking to set the pace here in Plymouth. It was an epic finish to the 2017 World Junior Championship.
This has been an extraordinary night of hockey.
Canada lost the gold medal to the Americans in heartbreaking fashion.
Ball works in, deep, Parsons makes the stop, and the United States has won the gold medal in Montreal.
With 9 players eligible for return, the Canadians have some unfinished business to take care of. The quest for World Junior glory begins now. Canada versus Finland next. As we welcome you to Plymouth, Michigan, where for the second straight year, USA Hockey Arena will play host to the World Junior Summer Showcase. Now it's a plethora of who's who here at USA Hockey Arena. Plenty of hockey scouts here to take in some action, as well as take a look at some of these young prospects. Fans as well pouring into the rink to keep an eye on their nation's team. Hello, I'm Tessa Benham. Welcome inside USA Hockey Arena. Well, the World Junior Summer Showcase is the first chance for these players to make an impression on their World Junior Championship coaches. Now, it's also a great opportunity for these coaches to get a good look at their young prospects as they get set for the World Junior Championship come December. Now, here is a look at the last World Junior champions. Team Canada and Team Finland, last year's World Junior Championship did not go very well for them. Canada, as you saw, losing in the shootout. Team Finland coming in as defending champs, and they finished a worse 9th place. Speaking of the shootout, let's take a look back at last year's final in Montreal, Quebec at the Bell Center. Team Canada couldn't get it done in regulation or in overtime, nor could they in the shootout, as Team USA is crowned champions on Canada's home soil. Now, the coach for that year was head coach Dominic Ducharme. That was his second year at the World Junior Championship, so it's safe to say he knows the tournament well, and he's standing by with our very own Mark Masters.
Dominic, what are you and the coaching staff looking to accomplish here at the Summer Showcase?
Well, we want to put in place the way we play and the way we want to play, the way we think. To become a strong group, to get to know everyone. It's really important, and for the players to get to know us, and to get to know each other, and build a team chemistry. I mean, it takes time. It's still early in the year. We're just starting, but you know, we're seeing some good things, and we're looking to get better today.
A lot of the players in the lineup today were part of that first scrimmage yesterday where the Americans won 8-2. You're looking for a bounce back from them today. What specifically would you like to see that group do better?
I think, first, I think they were a little bit surprised. Playing the first game, the Americans were playing their third or fourth game, so a little bit surprised. So the engagement was not quite where it needed to be. It got better in the second period. I expect us to be having a better start, playing faster, using our speed and skills, and obviously being better one-on-ones.
Dom, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Well, 2 other members of our TSN team here in Plymouth with the call on the game is Gord Miller and Craig Button.
Thank you, Tessa. This is an interesting situation because the coaches and players get to know each other now and then don't see each other really until December in the selection camp.
Well, one of the things with Dominic Ducharme returning as the head coach, and this will be his 3rd World Junior Championship. He was an assistant in Finland. He knows what the tournament is about. He knows what to expect, and he knows what he wants from his players. Now, for the players, the next time they're going to be able to make an impression on the coaching staff is in December, and a large number of these players won't even be back. So it's really important to leave a real positive impression on Dominic Ducharme and the coaches. This team, the large majority of it that played yesterday and lost 8-2, they did not have a good first impression. They don't want to leave another one like that.
Canada can bring as many as 9 players back from last year's World Junior Championship, and there are some returnees in today's lineup for the Canadians, but there's a lot of players bringing their first taste of playing for Canada. Stuart Skinner in goal was shelled yesterday, 5 goals on 22 shots. But you look at the top line, Michael McLeod, a returnee from last year, but lots of high-scoring players from various junior leagues, including a lot of high-scoring defensemen. Dennis Chalowski from St. Cloud State will likely be playing in Major Junior this year. For the Finns, 9th place last year. The strength of this team expected to be on defense. It's likely the Finns could have as many as 4 first-round picks playing for them in the tournament. 2 of them are here this weekend. Urho Vakanainen is a Boston first-round pick. In addition, Henri Jokiharju is a Chicago first-round pick. The core of this Finnish team won the World Under-18 2 years ago for the Finns. But last year, the Finns, as Tessa mentioned, finished 9th, narrowly edged out Latvia to avoid being relegated. Tessa?
Thank you, gentlemen. Well, we've got you all set for the first game. Team Canada taking on Team Finland. Puck drop just around the corner here in Plymouth, Michigan at USA Hockey Arena.
World Junior Summer Showcase from Plymouth, Michigan is brought to you by Esso. The Esso brand has fueled Canada's love for hockey for over 30 years. By Nike, official gear of Canada's national hockey team. By RBC, when we invest in youth, great things happen. And by TELUS, powering the network that keeps us all connected. World Junior Summer Showcase from Plymouth, Michigan is brought to you by Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Back here at USA Hockey Arena in Plymouth, Michigan, just outside Detroit, the World Junior Summer Showcase gets underway with Canada taking on Finland. There were some inter-squad games played last few days. Stuart Skinner allowed 3 goals in 6.5 minutes against the United States in an 8-2 loss. He wound up allowing 5 goals total on 22 shots. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen is a Buffalo second-round pick in the most recent NHL draft. He is another one of those players who played in the under-18 tournament in Fargo, North Dakota 2 years ago. And that Finnish team won the gold that year. And the core of that team expected to be the core of their national junior team this December in Buffalo.
And Finland also played in the gold medal game this recent year in Slovakia, losing to the USA in that gold medal game. So in back-to-back years with a group of 99 players, including Luukkonen, 2 medals.
And worth pointing out that even by the under-18 standard, the Finnish team that won in 2016 was very young. Back at the point, Connor Timmins with a quick shot. That goes wide. Timmins plays for Sault Ste. Marie in the Ontario Hockey League. A high-scoring offensive defenseman who had 61 points in 67 games last year. Now a turnover and a chance to put a backhand shot lifted wide by Arni Talvedi. And the net dislodged in the Canadian zone. So an early turnover leads to a scoring chance for the Finns.
Connor Timmins usually makes a lot better plays than this one. He just makes a sloppy play through the middle of the ice, and there's no zip on the pass either, so it's an easy play to intercept. And Dominic Ducharme talks about playing fast and playing firm. There's a real good example of a play he does not want to see.
Dennis Chalowski, we mentioned, played last year at St. Cloud State University. He has left school. He's a Detroit Red Wings draft pick who can either play in Major Junior for Prince George or in Grand Rapids of the American Hockey League.
He was drafted from Chilliwack in the BCHL, the British Columbia Hockey League, so that affords him the opportunity as an underage to, if he's good enough, to play in the American Hockey League.
Players drafted on Major Junior as teenagers must play in the NHL or Junior. They can't play in the American League. But players drafted out of Tier 2 Junior, the USHL, or college can go to the American League as teenagers. Samuel Girard, who was one of the last cuts for Canada at last year's selection camp, pokes it ahead for Dylan Dubé. Dubé of the Kelowna Rockets, a returnee from last year, wearing a face shield to protect a cut from a puck he took. And Nick Hague takes down Itu Tulala. Getting back in the score is Jari Inola. And Inola now bumped in the corner by Girard. Girard plays for Shawinigan in the Quebec Major Junior League, looks ahead and finds Nick Hague. Back at the point is Dubé, holds on Inola. And Dubé works the puck down. and finds Jonathan Ang on the Peterborough Petes. Ang has that pass go off a stick, and it's moved out by Tulula.
We're talking about Chalowski, drafted by the Detroit Red Wings in the first round. His coach at St. Cloud State is Bob Motzko, or was Bob Motzko, the head coach of Team USA that won gold, and he'll return also this year, the bench boss for Team USA.
Later on this afternoon, we'll have the United States taking on the Swedes. Fabro, Kachuk. Boris Kachuk was born in Russia, moved to Canada as a youngster at the age of 10. Played minor hockey there and is now starring for Sault Ste. Marie in the Ontario League. Icing waved off as that race was won by Will Bitton of the Hamilton Bulldogs of the OHL. Here's Bitton back with it. Drops it down to Cody Glass. On the puck back to center ice to Connor Timmins. So Timmins will try to atone for that first shift. He gave the puck away in his own zone. Goes back to Chalowski. In comes Chalowski. A wrist shot that goes high. Might have ticked the mask there of Lukanen, the Finnish goaltender. Michael McLeod knocked off stride. Feeds that down to Brett Howden. His brother Quinton played for Canada at the World Junior Championship. Now Chalowski lays it back in deep as Timmins pinches up. The one thing this Canadian defense has going for it, Greg, is offensive pedigree. There's a lot of big numbers put up by the Canadian D-men in the various leagues.
They are. They're good with the puck, and not just...
A steal by Turkalainen working in. A backhand shot, scores! Jerry Turkalainen opens the scoring for the Finns. Another turnover in the Canadian zone.
Yeah, another sloppy play. I can't emphasize enough what Dominic Ducharme, the head coach, keeps talking about. Play fast, play firm, and I mean, those are lacking in those types of plays, especially in the neutral zone. I mean, you're a little bit under pressure, that's okay, but Michael McLeod makes a real poor play, gets on his backhand, not strong on the puck. And Skinner cannot corral that puck off the rebound and bail out Michael McLeod, most importantly.
So the Finns with an early goal here. They'll be intriguing to watch. Last year, it's hard to imagine how it could have gone worse for them. They finished 9th. Their coach was fired on New Year's Eve. Jussi Ahokas took over. It was Ahokas coaching their national junior team now, who coached the under-18 team that had gold medal in 2016. Now busting in, Gadjevich with a centering pass. Just missing Cliff Pooh. Ang has his pass broken up. Brought in by Otto Koivu.
The other thing about Team Finland firing their head coach, it was a debacle though. Oh. And you know the Finns as well as anybody, Gord. They're not knee-jerk. So you have to understand how serious it was for them to change their coach at that point in the tournament.
Now, to be fair to the Finns, they did finish 9th last year. They could have had Sebastian Aho, who had a great year for Carolina, Jussi Puljujärvi, and Patrick Laine. All 3 of those guys were eligible, didn't play for them. Laine and Puljujärvi eligible this year.
Amazing, and you know, when Finland won the gold medal on home soil the previous year, I mean, that line was just unbelievably great. Gord, one of the best lines I've ever seen at the World Junior Tournament, those 3 players.
Now brought in by Dubé. Dylan Dubé with Taylor Raddish. The centering pass goes off a stick. Back down to the Canadian zone, and Skinner way out to play it. Skinner's a 18-year-old from Edmonton, drafted by the Oilers. Both goaltenders dressed for Canada today are draft picks of the Oilers. Skinner a 3rd-round pick in 2017. Dylan Wells a 5th-round pick in 2016.
And that play just there, that exchange with Haig and Skinner, that's a play they got to work on, because Haig doesn't give Skinner any option of what to do with the puck. He gets kind of bumped up against Skinner and leaves Skinner with no options. You know, playing defense is also making sure that you don't foul up your goaltender or cross him up.
Gerard, the national 2nd rounder, plays it in, and there's an icing call against the Canadians, still looking for their first shot in this first period.
Well, Dominic Ducharme talks about, you know, what he wants his team to do, what they're trying to emphasize. And I thought really importantly, his talk in the pregame in terms of the players getting to know them, it is a really good point, because when they're going to push, what their expectations are going to be in any certain situation, that's all important parts of the growth and development of this team.
We saw him talking to Trevor Letowski. assistant coach for Team Canada, who was recently named Letowski, a gold medalist for Canada at the 1997 tournament in Geneva, coached by Mike Babcock.
That was the 5th of 5 straight for Canada before they went into a little bit of a drought.
Now the next year was Canada's debacle in Finland. That team with Joe Thornton as the 13th forward was pretty good.
Mark Denny was the goalie. He was unbelievable. I remember that gold medal game against the USA. I don't think they could have put a P past him. That's how good he was in that game.
2-0 win in that game. Killed off a 5-minute major. Letowski was a big part of that penalty kill. Hopping off the bench is Otto Koivula, an Islander 4th round pick. Man, Nashville's got a lot of Finns in their lineup, but a lot of other teams have gone to the well, drafting Finnish players as well.
4 first-round draft picks from a Finnish defenseman in this previous NHL draft. They'd only had 6 defensemen total in their history drafted in the first round. They had 4 in the 2017 NHL draft.
Joni Ikonen lifted that high and wide, and now Vakanainen with a shot that got blocked. Earl Vakanainen, to mention a Boston first-round pick in 2017, 18th overall. And don't forget, Ola Juolevi, a Vancouver first-round pick, is not here, nor is Miro Heiskanen, who went 3rd overall to Dallas in the most recent NHL draft.
And Valimaki, who's here, he was the captain of the under-18 team that won gold in Grand Forks, North Dakota. He was a first-rounder to Calgary. And then Henry Jokiharju, who ended up being the first-round pick to the Chicago Blackhawks. Pretty impressive group of defensemen.
For a country of 5 million people, the Finns really do punch above their weight. Valimaki with that shot that drifts wide. And you mentioned Valimaki, the Calgary first-round pick, just misses, but the Finns are on the board in the early going here. A 1-0 lead on Canada as the 2017 World Junior Summer Showcase is underway. So Dominic Ducharme talking to this Canadian team, looking for a little more push here in the opening period. And again, Canada's split squads lost 8-2 and then won 2-1 against the United States last night.
I think the second game, I don't think the coaches had to go in and tell the second group anything about a good start or discipline after watching the first game that got away from them early and quickly.
You know, it's funny though, you think back when the tournament was in Ottawa in 2009, in the summer of 08, Canada had their evaluation camp. As McLeod moves in, Michael McLeod drops that back at the point for Girard. Looks down at Houghton, he got tied up. Phillips comes in. Matthew Phillips, all 5'6", 141 pounds of him. Don't underestimate him. He scored 50 goals in the Western Hockey League last year.
Very good offensive player, real smart. Obviously at that size you have to be elusive, and he is.
So at that summer evaluation camp, Jordan Eberle was ranked 44th out of 44 players. They changed the coaching staff that year. As Benoit Drew went off the American League, Pat Quinn took over, knew Eberle, and he wound up being the star of the tournament.
He was not only just the star, but the timeliness of his offense. Some great moments at that tournament in Ottawa for Team Canada.
The greatest clutch goal scorer Canada's ever had. Lynn moves in as Cole Lynn of the Kelowna Rockets brings that in, the Vancouver's second-round draft pick. And back comes Vakanainen. Vakanainen returning from last year's team for the Finns. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing for them, but he does know how quickly things can get away at the World Junior Championship.
They were generally concerned when they made the coaching change that they may get relegated. That's the depths of despair the team was in.
It was a 2-game relegation tournament. They scored late in the third period to win the first game 2-1 and won the second 4-1 to avoid relegation. Kukkonen works in, shoots, and Skinner makes the stop on Jani Kukkonen. So we mentioned that Canada could have as many as 9 players return from last year's World Junior team. The United States has 7 eligible, the Finns 5 and Sweden 5. Those are the 4 teams here at the World Junior Summer Showcase.
That's a pretty impressive number when you get into numbers like 9 and 7 of returning players, because as we've seen over the years, you know, it's very rare that players like Puljujärvi and Laine can come in and have that type of an impact. It's essentially a tournament for the 19-year-olds.
Välimäki works that in deep. And the puck picked up by Ikonen. Centers it, and the pass is picked off by Jonathan Ang of the Peterborough Petes. Ang sent it for Dubé. That pass broken up. And back down to the Canadian zone where Dante Fabro, going into his sophomore year at Boston University, plays it ahead. BU had 7 players in last year's World Junior Championship. As that puck ticks off the glass, goes up and out of play.
Well, Dylan Dubé is one of the returning players, a real competitor. We put together a scouting report, and these are out of 5s. Real smart player, can play in a lot of situations. He's a big-time competitor. Penalty killer, plays along the boards. He gets right into those real dirty areas that really demand not only an effort, but a sacrifice. And he might not be the biggest scorer, but he's going to create opportunities with his speed. He's going to create turnovers. A player that acquitted himself very well last year for Team Canada, and certainly will be counted upon by Dominic Ducharme this year.
Face off one away from Cody Glass of the Portland Winterhawks, and now Timmins back for it. Across he goes to Samuel Girard through the middle, and Glass chips that down. Glass scored 32 goals last year for the Winterhawks, the 6th overall pick by the Vegas Golden Knights in their first NHL draft. Timmins goes back for it, being watched there by Inola. And Jari Inola moves in. Picked off by Girard, but Inola's back in on him. And Inola wins that battle for the puck, throws it back behind the goal. Now move back to the front. As pitching in there was Casper Kotkaniemi, but the puck got away from him. Kotkaniemi, a teammate of Fabro's at Boston University. Knocked down at the line by Houghton, the place onside. But Kuppinen takes it back for the Finns. Moves it ahead and busting in, a quick chance there for Sami Moilanen. And Moilanen of the Seattle Thunderbirds is turned away by Stuart Skinner of the Lethbridge Hurricanes.
Well, here's the first play on a little bit of a poor line change by Finland, and really Canada's first good look, and a real good shot there by Suzuki, but not a dangerous one. And then Moilanen breaks free. Skinner holds his ground nicely. We're just about 12 minutes into this first period, and Canada hasn't threatened offensively at all. Nothing inside the dots. And when you play against Finland, they're very good at defending the middle of the ice, so you've got to find ways to get inside the dots, create chances, and break down the defenders. Canada hasn't done that through the first 12 minutes or so.
Canada's got a large group here, so we'll see the other half of the roster on Friday against the Swedes. And then Canada wraps up against the United States on Saturday. And Matthew Phillips knocked down the 19-year-old from Calgary, who was a Flames draft pick, 6th round in 2016.
Here's the play as it comes right here in front of him. Puck comes right up and catches him right under the face mask.
Plays for Dave Lowry.
Dave has left Victoria now to be an assistant coach with the LA Kings. Matthew was the Rookie of the Year in the Western Hockey League 2 seasons ago.
Shot ripped wide there by Jani Kukkinen, Carolina's 2nd round pick. Now the pass snapped ahead to Cliff Pugh. Buffalo 3rd round pick in 2016 is Cliff Pugh. Started for the London Knights in the OHL. And what a year he had last year. 35 goals in 63 games.
A very interesting player in terms of, he was drafted by the Oshawa Generals in the 1st round, and they traded Pugh to acquire Michael McCarron.
Right.
And Oshawa went on to win the Memorial Cup. And then Cliff Pugh came back to London, and they won the Memorial Cup the year after.
Play called offside at the Canadian line. 1-0 the Finns lead here at the World Junior Summer Showcase. We mentioned that the two goaltenders today, Stuart Skinner and Dylan Wells, are both Oilers draft picks, good friends, and they have something else in common. They have both scored goals in their respective leagues. Wells in the OHL for Peterborough, Skinner in the Western League for Lethbridge. So pretty interesting that two guys are drafted by the same team, good friends, and they could both say they put a puck in it.
Hey, you need scoring from everywhere in your lineup now, right?
That's something we haven't seen yet at the World Junior Championship as a goalie score a goal, at least that I can recall. And you saw Dylan Wells, the 19-year-old, on the bench as Skinner has allowed 1 goal on 4 shots thus far and stops that long-range shot.
Well, Dylan St. Cyr, who was the goaltender for USA that won gold at this previous April's U18 championship, his mother is Manon Rayom, former goaltender. If anybody's going to score a goal at the World Junior Tournament, I'm going to bet on Dylan St. Cyr. This guy handles the puck as good as anybody I've ever seen. We're going to see him in this tournament before it's finished.
Yeah, USA will take on Sweden in the second game, and Manon Rayom will stop by and talk with Tessa. Child hockey mama knows a thing or two about playing the game at the highest level.
And Dylan's uncle, Pascal Rayom, won a Stanley Cup with the New Jersey Devils. So maybe that's where he got his goal scoring and puck handling prowess from.
Josh Mahura, the Regina Pats, stands his ground and knocked the puck away. Now centered, and the puck went in behind Marcus Nurmi. Nurmi's an Ottawa 6th-round pick. Now peeling back in the corner is David Quenneville. Cliff Pooh up ahead for Josh Mahura, the Anaheim 3rd-round pick, had that knocked away. And Cole Lynn digs for it in the corner. Dante Fabro up for Ang. I mentioned that Fabro, one of those many Boston University Terriers who was out of David Quinn's lineup during the World Junior Championship. They went undefeated while those 7 players were gone at the tournament.
Speaks to real good depth. A couple of them have left for good. Charlie McAvoy signing with the Boston Bruins. Clayton Keller with the Arizona Coyotes.
Jordan Greenway signed with Minnesota. Now the pass goes over the head of Jonathan Ang. And out to play it is Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. 6'4", 200-pound Finnish goaltender at the age of 18. Luukkonen might have been a 2nd-round steal by Buffalo. In comes Dubé with a shot, and that rattles off the glass into the meshing and out of play.
Well, the thing about Luukkonen is that when you look at his game and you look at what he's got so many good attributes. So you assess how you can develop that and his willingness to work at it. I don't think there's any problem with the latter, but you know, he was so impressive in Grand Forks when they won the gold medal. They put him in. He didn't start the tournament, but they felt really confident putting him in there. You know, he takes goaltenders a little bit longer, but he's got a lot of fine tools.
Jaska. Chris Stronsing there with Moilanen, who had a good scoring chance earlier, but that long shoot in dies in the glove of Stuart Skinner.
So we talk about the Finns. So it used to be about a goaltending factory.
Yeah.
Now they produce goaltenders. They're now producing top-end defensemen, really good, well-rounded defensemen. We've seen what they're doing in the forward group.
Yeah.
You talk about a country that punches above their weight. They're producing players. Their development system is as good as anybody's in the world.
The only country to win medals in each of the last 3 Olympic men's hockey competitions.
You go all the way through it, right? U18, U20, World Championships, Olympics.
Well, they came in the 2017 year, 2016-2017, came within 1 game of being the first nation to win all 3, the under-18, the World Junior, and the World Championship. They lost the gold medal game to Canada at the World Championship, or they would have had the hat trick. And now the play called offside again at the Canadian line.
Every year they come to tournaments, they're well prepared. I mean, we talk about last year at the World Junior and it got away from them early in those types of tournaments, but they're well coached. They play as a team. They have to play as a team because, you know, they don't have the same depth as other countries, but now when they're producing some high-end players and they have the same type of thinking as a unit and the same type of determination and competitiveness as a unit, They're more than formidable.
5 to go here in the opening period. Shots are 6-3 in favor of the Finns. There's an icing call against Canada. And there are some familiar faces on this Finnish coaching staff, including Sami Salo, former NHL defenseman. Man, could he shoot the puck.
He really could. And, you know, he had that real good poise. You talk about a power play quarterback. I mean, he would fit the description of a power play quarterback. The big bomb, pass it, think back there. He was a late round draft pick by the Ottawa Senators. Jarmo Kekalainen, and the current general manager of the Columbus Blue Jackets, was working for Ottawa at that time and really felt that Salo had potential.
Did okay, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Hura sends that ahead. Now the rink-wide pass. Scooped up by Arne Talavidi. And Talavidi, who plays for Penn State, or is going to play for Penn State in the upcoming year in the NCAA, moves it up. And the play called offside at the finish line.
Well, Nick Hague, who was a second-round draft pick to the Vegas Golden Knights, we're going to take a look at his report card. Real good with the puck. He's been a real good power play type player. One of the things with defensemen, learning how to play defense below the circles, and I think for Nick Hague, that's the area where he's got to really work at it. But at the offensive blue line, he's got a good shot, and he can produce offense, you know, not just with the shot, but also by making some real good plays with the puck.
Well, he's 6'5". He scored 18 goals last year for Mississauga in the OHL. As that puck goes off, Skinner bounces right down the slot and is moved away by Cliff Pooh. Koivula sends that pass down for Joni Ikonen, and it skipped away from him. Now brought back in behind the goal by Samuel Girard. Throws it back in front. They score. The feed from Girard finds the stick of Cole Lind, and Canada has tied the game.
Samuel Girard makes a really good play from his defensive zone. He reads it, and he sees that Joni Ikonen is not really in a good position, and now Girard doesn't give up on it. He stays right with him. Remember, he's a defenseman. He ends up getting to the puck, takes a little look. He's elusive, patient, finds his way to the front of the net with the puck. But that play is made by a really good, decisive play. Ends up going off the skate of Rassinen, the Toronto Maple Leafs second-round draft pick. But Samuel Girard really makes a play where you like to see him taking the reins of it and initiating it.
Dubé works in, plays it across for Ang. Down for Radish. What a gigantic year for Erie in the OHL, scoring 42 goals in 58 games. He was second in points in the O last year.
Well, we're talking about Trevor Letowski.
Dubé works it. He's hauled down in front of the goal.
Back to Letowski, Canada's assistant coach. Chris Knobloch was going to return, who was the Erie head coach, but he's taken a job with the Philadelphia Flyers, and 4 straight 50-win seasons with the Erie Otters by Chris Knobloch.
Ang centers it. Dubé plays it across. Radish with a shot. Scores! Taylor Radish, just as we talked about his goal-scoring prowess, snaps it home, and Canada's grabbed a quick 2-1 lead here late in the first period.
Two things. Dylan Dubé makes a really nice play on the backhand with the pass, but Taylor Radish, he does a nice job of opening up here. Here comes Dubé into the play, takes the pass from Ang, but Radish opens up into that spot in the open ice. A lot of players want to chase back to the net. He finds that quiet area, and Dubé delivers the puck perfectly, and Radish can shoot the puck. He gets to the right spots at the right times. A lot of times we talk about skating, and Taylor Radish is never going to get artistic marks for his skating, but he's determined, he's smart, and he knows where to get to, and he gets there at the right times.
Second-round pick of the Lightning in the 2016 draft. He and Boris Katchuk, who's out there now, are both Lightning prospects, and given the cap situation in Tampa, the chance for young players to crack that lineup may never have been better.
You know, Brett Howden's in this game, another Tampa Bay, a first-round draft pick in 2016, so.
Katchuk throws that in. Katchuk's a really interesting story. His mom was an Olympic speed skater for the Soviet Union in Calgary in 1988. The family moved to Canada in the 90s. His father passed away when he was young. They started in Vancouver, moved to the Waterloo area where he's settled now and plays for Sault Ste. Marie, drafted by Tampa, signed by the Lightning. Patrick got 35 goals last year for the Greyhounds. Now glove down behind the goal by Kukkonen. And Yanni Kukkonen played that back at the point, but the puck bounced away from Kalle Rasanen, the Edmonton 6th-round pick. Brought in now by Howden with McLeod. Phillips is the trailer, now back at the point. Fabbro a hard shot, save made. As Luukkonen kicked that away. Now Fabbro plays it down to Phillips. And Phillips in a battle down there with Yanni Kukkonen. And the puck banged off the boards by Fabbro. This will be icing against the Finns. 1:08 to go in the first period. Here's a look at the 2 goals scored by Canada here in this first period.
Samuel Girard, the defenseman, makes a really good play against Joni Ikonen to create the turnover, and then he banks it in off of Rasanen's skate, and then Ang, Dubé, and Radish go to work on the second one. Real good play in the defensive zone by Dubé, and then they get right on the attack and finish it off with Radish picking his spot.
It's hard to argue with production, isn't it?
It is.
Right? You can pick at a guy's flaws all you want, but when he produces every year.
It doesn't matter what situation you put him in, he finds a way to be productive.
In comes Fabbro, a centering pass now, and a backhand shot. Lifted there by Jona Gadjevic, and a save made by Luukkonen. So Canada piling up the shots here late in this period.
And that speaks to hockey sense. And Taylor Radish is a very smart player, but there's a good quick play back into the middle of the ice. I talked earlier about Canada not making plays inside the dots. Well, those are some good plays off of face-off win. Fabbro with his head up.
I can remember, Craig, a scout saying about a player at the 2012 World Junior Championship, he's got great hockey sense. It's too bad his feet are better. He played in the NHL. Mark Stone. Now walking in, a great chance there for Valimaki. Turned away by Stuart Skinner.
Stuart Skinner's really settled in here. A couple of close-in shots, no loose change laying around in front of him. Reading that play real nicely, not opening up. It's a nice play, and Valimaki loves to jump into the attack. First-round pick by the Calgary Flames. Just in terms of style of play, reminds me a lot of the way that Mark Giordano plays. That type of determination, a workhorse type defense. And I'm not saying he's at that, but that type of effort everywhere on the ice.
They might just be doing cartwheels right now in Calgary after what you said. If you're comparing him to Mark Giordano, who's one of the top defensemen in the league, they'll take that.
Yeah, they will.
Radish. Chips sent for Dubé. Back for Ang to Radish. Works in. Plays it across. That pass broken up by Ikonen. Back goes Samuel Girard to pick it up. A little undersized as Sam Girard, 5'9", 166 pounds. And again, that's what they said about Chris Letang back in the day, and a host of others.
Yeah, there are a lot of, I mean, Dennis Cholowski, Detroit's first-round draft pick, I mean, when he was 15, 14 years old, he was like 5'5". Cale Makar, who's here, he was 5'6" in his Bantam year draft at 14. You know, there's so much time to mature, and you got to allow that to happen. Again, we talk about productivity. Samuel Girard, wherever he's played, has been highly, highly productive. Doesn't matter where or who he plays with or what the situations are, he finds a way to be productive.
Canada scores twice late in the opening period, grabs a 2-1 lead on the Finns as day one of the World Junior Summer Showcase sees Canada with a 2-1 lead after 20 minutes. Our first intermission is coming up from Plymouth, Michigan.
20 minutes in the books here at USA Hockey Arena at the Summer Showcase. While Finland may have gotten on the board first, Canada turns it up late as Samuel Girard and Taylor Radish get Team Canada on the board, put them up 2-1. He's standing by with Mark Masters.
Taylor, that first scrimmage yesterday did not go the way you guys wanted it. What are you doing better in the first 20 minutes here today?
Just playing the game a little more simple, playing fast and getting it low and working their D. And yesterday we got away from that, and today we we started playing our way, and it's been working out pretty well.
All right, you have the second goal. What did you see on that play?
Yeah, Ang made a good drop pass to Dubé, and he found me cross ice on a 2-on-1, and I let the goalie slide by, and I put it in. And it was a good play all around and a big goal for our team. As
a returning guy, what are you saying to the young guys about how important this camp is?
Yeah, just to show yourself early on. It's going to be a long process with this tournament here in the season, and then the main camp in the start of December there. And you just got to keep working hard and show the scouts and the coaches what you're really made of.
Thanks, Taylor.
Thank you.
Well, Samuel Girard put Canada on the board first and opened the scoring for the red and white. When we come back after the break, we're going to check back in with Mark Masters on Canada's unfinished business. Stick around. Well, the Carolina Hurricanes well represented here in Plymouth. GM Ron Francis and staff in attendance, keeping a close eye on their prospects. We've got one period in the books. Team Canada leading Finland 2-1. Well, Finland, Sweden, Canada, and USA have all gathered here in Plymouth, Michigan for a week-long summer camp. It marks the first step towards a process that will take some of them to Buffalo in December for the 2018 World Junior Championship. And as Mark Masters explains, there's a sense of unfinished business for 9 players in particular.
This is not about a quest for redemption. Let's make that perfectly clear. Canada's players and coaches are very much proud of how they performed last January in Montreal. Although many of them admit they haven't been able to bring themselves to watch the video or even the highlights of that loss to the Americans in the gold medal game. That gut-wrenching defeat is now a rallying point as the group begins another climb up the World Junior mountain.
It's pretty exciting to be back. It feels like a lot of unfinished business here, and it's exciting to get the process going again.
It's a lot of motivation, I'm not gonna lie. It hurt losing like that way in the shootout.
With the way it ended, obviously in a shootout, and the guys were pretty salty about that. But I think it kind of gave us that much more motivation to obviously push forward and kind of take that next step this year and make sure we come home with nothing but a gold.
It was a tough way for it to end, but I was pretty proud just to be a part of that team and obviously be back and bring that from last year, that fire a little bit, and try and transfer it to the guys. Obviously, they won't really have the experience of losing like that, but I think they'll get the message pretty quick that we're here to win, obviously, this year.
Well, I mean, we've seen how the line is thin between the winning and losing, and we want to take a step forward there and make sure that we're even better than we were last year, so that we're not playing in overtime and shootout.
I think just don't get too far ahead of ourselves. I think obviously in that gold medal game we got two goal leads, and obviously we blow it, and then the game ended the way it did. But it's such a crazy atmosphere what you're playing, and you sometimes you kind of get lost in the moment.
Got some World Junior alumni here as well. Brian McCabe now works with the Florida Panthers. He's in attendance, scoping out some of these prospects at the World Junior Summer Showcase. When we come back, Gordon Craig will break down the first period.
I'm not great at remembering this stuff, but I think probably I remember watching when Jordan Eberle scored that goal with, I think, 5 seconds left against Russia. It's a Christmas tradition. I know everyone watches it at Christmas time, and I went to one when they were in Edmonton a couple years ago. Peter Mrazek was in net, and he was doing all those celebrations and all that crazy stuff back when he was playing for Czech.
Among those watching this World Junior Summer Showcase, on the left, Chris Draper of the Detroit Red Wings. On the right is Vegas Golden Knights GM George McPhee. Vegas' top 4 draft picks from the most recent NHL draft are here in this competition. Let's show the scoring summary from the opening period. Jerry Turkalainen opened the scoring on a steal in the offensive zone at 3:38 to make it 1-0 for the Finns, but then Samuel Girard actually gets credit for that first Canadian goal. It went off a skate. He gets credit. Taylor Radish then snaps on a pass from Dylan Dubé to give Canada a 2-1 lead. Gord Miller back here with Craig Button. And Craig, it's the first week of August. You're not going to make the team based on your performance this week, but if you leave a bad impression, that can linger.
It sure can, and I think we've heard Dominic Ducharme, the head coach, talk about playing fast, playing firm, And that's one of the things you got to do in all areas of the game. Canada did not do a very good job of that in the first 12 minutes or so of this first period. They weren't attacking, they weren't getting out of their zone with any type of fluidity, and they were creating a lot of opportunities for the Finns. But then they were able to turn it around a little bit. And Samuel Girard, you talk about him, a defenseman, he really initiates this play against Joni Ikonen, makes a real good play, patient, poised, and it goes in off of Emily Rassinen's skate. And then shortly thereafter, off of a Finnish turnover created by Dylan Dubé, they get right on the attack along with Jonathan Hang, and Taylor Radish finishes it off. So for the coaching staff, I would say that the last 8 minutes of the first period was a really good 8 minutes and really good purposeful play by Team Canada, and ones that the coaching staff can say, okay, that's how we want to play, and that's the type of results we can get if you play that way.
All right, getting set for the start of the second period now, with Canada holding a 2-1 lead. And the shots are even at 7 after the opening period. This summer evaluation process has certainly changed over the years. It used to be simply an intra-squad type of matchup. There was the one year in Regina where Colton Tubert KO'd Jordan Caron, broke his collarbone actually, knocked him out for the first 2 months of the year. And busting with a quick chance there for the Finns is Jerry Turkalainen, the goal scorer for Finland. But the Canadians wanted to get away from the inter-squad aspects of it, players banging on each other in the summer, and play more live fire games against other countries.
Well, I think it's really important. You want intensity, but it's hard to be intense and really bring that edge against your own players. And, you know, we saw a couple of years ago with Don Hay a situation in the December camp where he's asking the players to play hard.
And there's a quick steal and a lightning goal again for the Finns. Otto Koivula, the Islander 4th round pick, just 20 seconds into the second period, puts it by Skinner to tie the game at 2.
Yeah, off the face-off, a real quick play off the face-off, and Ikonen, who's got quick hands and a quick mind, fully takes advantage of Nick Suzuki there, and no mistake. But you can see here where he's thinking about going ahead with it, not recognized by Nick Suzuki at all, and Ikonen takes advantage of it.
So a 2-2 tie in the opening moments now of the second period. And the puck kicked across and moved ahead by Robin Salo. Back goes Dylan Dubé for it. Dubé trying to center it. That pass is broken up. And now Chalowski back with it. Otto Koivula, another 18-year-old trying out for this Finnish junior team. In addition to expecting better results this year, based on what we think their roster will look like in December, they'll likely be able to bring it half of it back for the following year. Radish moves in, shoots, and a penalty coming out of the Finns as Canada will get the game's first power play. Dubé lays it back, and Quinn a hard shot. David Quinn lifts that high and wide. So Skinner to the bench for the extra attacker who comes on now. The Finns touch up. And Canada will go to the power play 1 minute and 19 seconds into the second period.
So we're talking about Taylor Radish again. Sloppy play by the Finns, good play by Suzuki, and Radish comes right out of the corner and Suzuki puts it on his stick. And Taylor Radish, he's taking it to the cage. He's not interested in playing on the outside of the action. He wants to get it right into the guts there, and he draws a penalty.
Radish, native of Caledon, Ontario, just northwest of Toronto. So with players like Radish and the other 8 eligible to return, not many spots up for grabs for Team Canada, if you think about it.
And you have to recognize that if you're a player that isn't returning, because, again, we talk about impressions and the ones you want to leave.
Chalowski drops it back. That pass was picked off and chopped down by Una Kompany.
Another sloppy play coming out of their own zone.
Now, that said, the 9 would be the maximum. It'll depend how many of those players are on NHL rosters when the selection camp begins.
Tyson Jost is one of those players returning. Very well could be the captain of Canada at the World Junior Tournament, but he's already leaving school and playing games last year for the Avalanche. Be interesting to see how he fares in the first half of the NHL season.
He's not playing this week, nor is Nolan Patrick, the Flyer first rounder, who was injured at Philadelphia's development camp. Suffered an infected cut at that event. As McLeod works in, Michael McLeod drops that off. In comes Phillips for it, and the pass gets by Fabro. Back at the point, 45 seconds to go in the Canadian power play. Here's Fabro. Up ahead for Howden, might pass too far for him, and Canada ices the puck on the power play.
I'm always amazed, Gordon. You go to practices and you watch teams practice the power play and the breakout and everything, and you know, one of the things that always concerns me, and I'm not saying it's with this Team Canada group right here, but if you're not ready to zip that puck in practice while you're doing those things, don't expect it to carry over into the game. And I think those are areas that have to be really emphasized, you know, in those practice sessions, because if not.
There's a shot that takes off the goalpost from Una Kuppinen and goes up and out of play. He just missed on Skinner.
He did, and a real quick shot here. You see the release, and it just explodes off of that stick, and I think it surprises Skinner. You know, one of the things for the goaltenders, trying to get a bead on how some of these guys shoot the puck. Kuppinen, a Boston draft pick, and that year in the draft 2016, they drafted Trent Frederick in the first rounders at Wisconsin, and Kuppinen in the later rounds. Two very similar type centermen, big, strong guys that need a little bit of time to develop, you know, just their skating and physical areas, but have some really good elements.
Radjevic shoots as the power play ended. The save is made by Luukkonen. No shots on goal officially for Canada on that power play. It remains a 2-2 game. If you're just joining us, the Finns opened the scoring in the early moments of the first. Canada scored twice late in that period to take a 2-1 lead. The Finns have scored in the opening moments here, the second, to tie it up. Later on today, it'll be the United States against the Swedes here in Plymouth. While the World Junior Hockey Championship returns to Canadian ice in 2019, Vancouver and Victoria join the fan list for the latest news and info. Sign up with Hockey Canada at 2019worldjuniors.ca. For the 2006 World Junior Championship in Vancouver.
It rained every single day.
It did that. I was thinking more along the lines of Evgeny Malkin, Jonathan Taves.
I still remember Steve Downey, that first shift of the gold medal game.
And now a play at the side of the goal. Radish sent flying again, and the finished net is dislodged. In that year's tournament, Downey got a call from Wayne Gretzky right before the gold medal game, who said to him, play on the edge and not over it, and you'll win a gold medal, and that's exactly what he did.
Well, he was unbelievable, Steve, because I think how that game started, and he ended up getting a penalty. And Brent Sutter, the head coach, said, we'll kill that penalty every single time. I remember the 1994, it wasn't the round, it wasn't the medal format, but it was a game that was for the gold medal between Canada and Sweden, and Todd Harvey made a similar type play on Kenny Jonsson, and you could just see how the tone was going to get set by Team Canada.
And you think about all those moments over the years, Craig, that determine those tournaments, and last year a two-man man on the ice call. At a crucial part of the gold medal game, Kiefer Bellows scores to get the U.S. back in the game. All those little things that happen in single elimination and round robins that can make all the difference.
Well, it was interesting because Canada had too many men on the ice penalties in that gold medal game, and certainly not the ones you want to have, but you know, the excitement of that game, the players, you know, trying to manage it, and they're teenagers.
Kukkinen brings it across the line. Yanni Kukkinen, who's GM Ron Francis here watching, drops it back to Salo, shoots, scores! Robin Salo rips it by Skinner, and the Finns are back on top.
It's a pretty good read here by Robin Salo, drafted by the New York Islanders in the second round of 2017. But a real good entry here, and the Finns have it under control, but Salo jumps right in there. Dylan Dubé gets too far outside the dots, and that's just enough room there for Robin Salo to jump into prime scoring area, and he gets that shot up and over the shoulder of Stuart Skinner. But again, being aware of your positioning on the ice is so important, because if Dubé holds his ice a little bit better, there's no play for Valimaki to step into that sweet spot.
Imagine that Sammy Salo is here for the Finns. He and Robin are not related. Now Nurmi across the line. Marcus Nurmi try to center it. The pass is knocked down and moved ahead by Cody Glass. Rink wide he goes for Cole Lind. Lind, the centering pass. Bounces stick of Fabro. In, shoots. Looking and makes the save. The rebound tapped wide by Cole Lind. Glass throws it back in the corner for Jonathan Ang. And now Fabro plays it down. Joni Ikonen. Ang set ahead. Now Nurmi with it. Now Ang. Up ahead for Howden. Pass just missed the stick of Marcus Niemelainen, and the face-off back down to the Finnish zone.
Well, the previous goal, as you can see here, Salo jumping in, and Talavides right there in kind of the line of sight. And
might have hit his leg, actually.
It might have. When I saw it originally here, I didn't think it did, but it might have deflected enough.
Touch Talvidi on the way in. Now racing back is Quenneville. Mahura. Long pass up ahead. Salo moves it ahead, and a race for it now. Racing back is Mahura. And the first man there scores. As it's scooped up by Emil, I believe. And it's now 4-2 Finland.
A rush goal, you know, whipped around the ice. It goes over the stick. David Quenneville can't really corral it. And just as simply, just not a goal that can go in on Stuart Skinner. It's not a dangerous scoring chance, and he gets a piece of it, but certainly not enough. And two quick goals here following that quick opener 20 seconds in, and a 2-1 lead entering the second period is turned into a 2-goal deficit.
Jiri Inola, the 19-year-old, takes the Finns with 2-goal lead. And now Salo back with it. Robin Salo being shadowed there by Bitton. So for Stuart Skinner, who allowed 5 goals on 22 shots yesterday against the United States, it's now 3 goals and 11 shots against the Finns. Gadjevic pokes that ahead. The Finnish defender fell. That was Salo. And Valimaki brings it back for the Finns. Rink wide he goes for Moilanen. Moilanen. Gadjevic plays it in deep for Will Bitton. Plays for Hamilton in the OHL. The Montreal second-round pick. Check out a third-round pick of the Canadians. Now Gadjevic's shot, and Luukkonen hangs on. The Finns have broken it open here in the second period, grabbing a 4-2 lead on Canada at the World Junior Summer Showcase in Plymouth, Michigan. There's Dante Fabro, when he was picked by Nashville in the first round in 2016. His sisters, Gina and Sophia, they're with him. Both played NCAA soccer in Clarksville, Tennessee at the Austin Peay University. I was worried that the Nashville might run out of defenseman, but they got Dante Fabro coming. You know, interesting for him because he's playing in college. The Olympics aren't out of the question for him.
It shouldn't be.
Take the second semester off, play in the World Junior for Canada, and then go play in the Olympics. It's believed that a lot of players have put off signing. I mentioned, by the way, that Jordan Greenway had signed with Minnesota. He hasn't yet, and may not, because he may get a spot on the U.S. Olympic team.
Because of NHL players, and even further to that, players under NHL contract that are playing pro hockey being unavailable to the countries.
And unlikely junior players will be available because their teams are playing.
They are, but the pool has opened up so much now, so you can't close the door on players that you think might be able to come in. It's a much larger pool. I mean, it was very small. We knew going into the Olympics the last 5 cycles that here's the group of players, you know, who's going to be on the team, who's not going to be on the team. Well, that number has certainly increased for the evaluators for Team Canada. That'll be Sean Burke, and Willie Desjardins is going to be the coach. Team USA is going to announce their staff, I believe, on Friday, right here at USA Hockey Arena.
Earl Vakanainen, by the way, goes off for delay of game, so Canada gets a second power play here as Jussi Ahokas looks on. So a first power play that had no shots on goal. We'll go back to work with Fabro and Girard in the back end. It'll be Nick Suzuki up front with Radish and Dubé on the wing. And Suzuki pokes that back for Girard. The puck taken away and sent down the ice by Una Koponen.
Just quickly back to the Olympics. You know, one of the interesting players for me is Nolan Patrick. You know, I mean, his uncle James played in the Olympics. I mean, would it be a scenario where perhaps Nolan could find his way there?
Now, the question would be, in his case, if he signs with the Flyers, if he's with the Flyers, he can't go. That's theoretically the rule.
It is, but if you send him back to junior, and you tell the junior team you're only getting him back if you release him to the Team Canada, what would you do as a junior team?
The pressure on junior teams to release players for the Olympics will be immense.
I think so.
And that's a tough one.
I don't know how you stop a young player that's capable of being in that situation.
Long lead pass right on the tape. Canada's Cole Lynn, he's brought down in the corner, and now it's sent back down the ice. 50 seconds to go in the power play. No shots on goal so far.
Just quickly back to the junior issue. It's tough to stop a player or not allow a player, not stop him is the right way, but prevent him from going and participating in the Olympics.
Walked in is Mahura, and that shot hit a leg in front, and the rebound cleared down the ice by Jaska.
And before everybody that's got CHL interest starts sending me notes or anything, we're talking about a very small group of players that could potentially play at the Olympic Games.
Quenneville moves it ahead for Ang, but all the moving pieces for the Olympics are going to reach down to all levels of the game as walk-in shooting as Mahura, and that shot deflects up and out of play. One shot on goal for Canada, that power play, which has now come to an end.
David Quenneville quickly across the ice, and real good play here by Mahura, who gets himself positioned nicely. Josh Mahura had a serious knee injury in his draft year. For his ACL, came back later on that year, participated in the Memorial Cup in Red Deer, and was a draft pick by the Anaheim Ducks, but good, smart, smooth skating defenseman.
So midway through this period, Canada makes a goaltending change as Stuart Skinner goes off. He allows 4 goals and 11 shots against the Finns, and now Dylan Wells, the 19-year-old from St. Catharines, Ontario, will step in. Had a terrific playoff for Peterborough last year, and a .930 save percentage in the postseason for the Petes. He's a 5th-round pick of Edmonton in the 2016 draft.
He was the starting goaltender for Canada when they won the Ivan Alinka gold medal 2 years ago. Carter Hart was the other goaltender, but Dylan played in the gold medal game. Canada won the Ivan Alinka tournament, which is a precursor to the NHL draft coming up here in August.
So just to make it clear, there's an IHF under-18 tournament that happens in the spring. Canada can't send a lot of its best players to that because they're playing in the junior playoffs. The Ivan Holinka tournament will start next week in Slovakia, and that's where Canada can send its top players. Next year, the Holinka tournament will be played in Edmonton.
And really, it's the preparations for the IIHF U18 championship that occurs in April. So, interestingly enough, Cody Glass, 6th overall by the Vegas Golden Knights, at this time last year was a cut for Team Canada. So I know kids are disappointed when they don't make that team, but the competition is fierce. But Cody Glass just went right to work and developed his game and showed everybody what a good player he is.
The list of Hall of Famers who have been cut by Canada at the World Junior is pretty long. Marty Brodeur, Doug Gilmore, Al McInnes, Patrick Roy.
Well, I know Ray Ferraro isn't a Hall of Famer.
He wasn't cut either. There was no camp then.
But he did get invited, and all he had was 50-plus goals at Christmas time.
Yeah.
At Christmas time, folks.
He finished with 108 that year. And he'll be happy to describe each and every one of them to you if you have the time. Be sure to ask him. He'll tell you about a 7-goal night in Prince Albert all night long. Who sends it ahead for Haig. And in comes Nick Haig. Another Vegas pick. And now a penalty coming. And they're going to get Haig for the trip in the corner, sending Finland to the power play with 9:07 to go here in the second period.
Those offensive zone tripping, hooking penalties, those are tough ones. Haig is in here trying to get to the puck, but he reaches in on Salo and gets the feed out from underneath him.
John Ferguson Jr. looking on among the many NHL scouts and executives here.
Couple of draft picks here from by the Boston Bruins. Vikanainen, their first-round pick this year, and Koppinen, who was a fifth-round pick in 2016.
Bruins had those 3 consecutive first-round picks a couple of years ago. And of course, Charlie McAvoy from last year's gold medal team was signed with the Bruins and had a great year for them. And a long shot stopped by Wells off the stick of Jani Kukkonen. The Finns on a power play here ahead 4-2 with 8:45 to go in the second period. Ward Miller, Craig Button, day one of the World Junior Summer Showcase. There have been some inter-squad games played prior to this. The U.S. and Canada both had split squads, and I'll go down to one team. The U.S. made some cuts this morning. And we mentioned earlier the United States will take on Sweden later on this afternoon here in Plymouth.
And a real opportunity to potentially watch a player that could be playing in the Olympics for Sweden. And in my view, no doubt will be the first overall pick in the 2018 NHL draft, defenseman Rasmus Dahlin.
You think he could make the Swedish Olympic team?
I sure do. Well, they don't have any NHL defensemen available to him. And what he did last year in the Swedish Elite League for Frölunda as a top 4 defenseman, I mean, I'm not saying he's for sure on the team. I'm saying the possibility of him playing there is real. That's how good this young man is. Tune in. He's the real deal. I usually call defensemen top 2 or top 3 defensemen. I think he's a clear-cut #1 defenseman, and they don't come along very often. Superb player.
He was terrific for the Swedes in the World Junior Championship last year. Absolutely fearless with the puck.
Fearless with the puck, and he brings all the elements to the game. Physical play, offensive play, really sharp skater. Just has the game under control at every moment.
Turkalainen plays it in deep for the Finns. Now Turkalainen takes the return pass. Turkalainen off the top. Inola centers it, gets the puck right back. Time winding down on the power play here. The puck knocks over the stick of Vakanainen. Haig almost took it away from him coming out of the box. 4-2, the Finns lead. Under 7 to go here in the second period. The shots are even at 13 apiece. Now McLeod lost the puck. Here's Salo with it. Robin Salo works in. The backhand pass in front, knocked away. And Connor Timmins tries to poke it away. Turkalainen. Long wrist shot goes off the leg of Chalowski. Chalowski swings back for it. The Langley, BC native. Out to center ice, knocked down by Levanon. And here's Timmins back with it. Colorado's second round pick is Timmins. That pass is picked up. Yasko works in. His centering pass broken up by Chalowski. Here's McLeod into the corner with it. Back to McLeod, one of 4 returnees for Canada in the lineup today. And Robin Salo swings back for it for the Finns. Mahura banks it across for Fabro. Will Pitt, Montreal third-round pick, had it knocked away. Moved up by Kukkonen. Now Fabro had lost his stick. He finds Mahura, and Josh Mahura sends it ahead for Bitten. Will Bitten from a sharp angle shoots, and Luukkonen gets a piece of that.
It's a real good play by Dante Fabro, losing the stick, but the presence of mind and a little bit of soccer skills to get it kicked over so they can get out of their zone.
Fabro back with it. Salvini took that away. A centering pass poked away by Mahura. Now the centering pass and a shot taken there by Kukkonen, kicked away by Wells. Valimaki with a shot. He rips that wide. For Valimaki, the Calgary first-round pick. Plays for Tri-Cities in the Western League. Kukkonen across the line. Rushes in that long shot. Pushed down to Wells. He kicks that away. Pass for Radish. Taylor Radish tries to center it. And the pass skipped away from Cliff Pooh. Rink wide pass gets to Nurmi. Nurmi tied up there by Girard. Kings have scored 3 unanswered goals here in the second period, including one 20 seconds into the frame. Dubé. Up along the wall, picked up by Quenneville. Quenneville centers it. That pass just missed. Now back at the point is Girard. Girard. Long pass knocked down by Radish. Radish tries to center it. And it's taken away by Kotkaniemi. Vaakanainen. Tried to center it. The pass is broken up by Girard. He's now lost his stick. Vaakanainen drops it back, and that shot lifted wide by Valimaki. Niemela with a penalty coming to Canada. Played back across, and that shot ripped on goal by Nurmi. Canada finally touches up, and with 3:16 to go here in the second period, the Finns will go to the power play when we return to Plymouth, Michigan, and the 2017 World Junior Summer Showcase after this. MLS All-Star Game descends on Chicago tonight as the All-Stars take on Real Madrid. Catch at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific on TSN 4 and 5. 4 nations represented here at the 2017 World Junior Summer Showcase. Team USA the host, Canada, Sweden, and Finland. The United States used to host this in Lake Placid, New York. This is the second year that Canada has joined the group. And now another penalty coming. It's a slashing call. It's going to go against the Finns. And so the power play ends just seconds in.
And Rasanen broke his stick, and I don't know what he's trying to plead with the referee that my stick broke. He was the one that slashed, no doubt about it, right there, right down on Cody McLeod, and they call that every time. So Canada doesn't have to worry about penalty killing, and we can see a little 4-on-4.
Rasanen's a 6th-round pick of Edmonton who plays for Boston College at the NCAA. And the one thing we've seen, Craig, that's different over the last few years is the number of Finns especially, and Swedes as well to a lesser extent, coming to North America to play before they get drafted.
Well, he played for the Sioux City Musketeers last year, and they lost in the championship game to the Chicago Steel in the USHL. So, I mean, even coming over for that step before college.
Right. Move back in front. Kukkonen a shot stopped by Wells. Here's Girard back on it. 4-on-4 now. With under 3 to go here in the second period. It was Gabriel Landeskog for the Swedes who really kicked that door open, playing for the Kitchener Rangers, getting drafted high by Colorado. But we've seen more and more Finns in recent years that come to play major, junior, and now college.
Well, one of the things with the SM Liga, the Finnish Pro League, is that you know, to play in that league, you got to be really good. And sometimes players have outgrown the junior league, which might not be at the same level. So the players are trying to continue their development. And there's some really good opportunities in the USHL and the CHL with Yanni Kukkonen, who plays for the London Knights, a terrific player, drafted by the Carolina Hurricanes.
Well, you got Ole Juoleve, who's not playing here. Of course, went 5th overall to Vancouver in 2016.
Rasanen, Toronto Maple Leafs 2nd round pick, played in Kingston.
Now some pushing and shoving breaks out as Livenen's shot is stopped.
Near the end of the second period, starting to get a little testy.
Finns don't really have a stop switch, do they? They play hard 12 months of the year. They're not gonna gear it down here in the summer. You see Joni Ikonen, who plays for London, the Swedish league. He's a Montreal 2nd round pick. Jari Inola, who plays for Hämeenlinna in the Finnish league. Chalowski drops it back for Michael McLeod, the New Jersey 1st round pick. McLeod, returning from last year, slides it ahead for Matthew Phillips. He lost the puck. 45 seconds to go in the 4-on-4. Phillips comes in, a backhand shot drifts right. He might have tried to find McLeod there on the doorstep.
Looked like that's what he was trying to do, and McLeod just misses it.
Johnny Kukkonen, the Carolina 2nd round pick, having a strong afternoon for the Finns. Drops that back, and the shot ramps off the stick of Samuel Girard, up and out of play.
Samuel Girard did real good play to create Canada's first goal. Real elusive, really good hockey mind, excellent hockey mind.
Another Nashville prospect on
yeah.
D. Oh my goodness.
It's amazing, isn't it?
I mean, they've already got Yossi, they've got Subban, they've got Ekholm, they've got Ellis, they've got Fabro coming.
They got Samuel Girard. They drafted a player that we're going to see here for Team USA, David Ferentz, who led with the under-18 program in the draft, a real fluid skating defenseman. They just keep producing them.
And they've drafted heavy on D-men for as long as David Perreault's been there, which is the inception of the franchise. In comes Dubé now. Dylan Dubé spins and shoots, and Luukkonen makes the save. Then the Radish is over. Rasanen steps up. The teams are back to 5-on-5. Just over a minute to go here in the second period. That long shot by Yassi, knocked away by Wells. So the final minute now of the second period. Shots are 11-7 in favor of the Finns, who've outscored Canada 3-0 here in the second period. Hit. Drops it back for Pooh. Steph Pooh centers it, and that shot, a hard one, taken by Gadjevich, beat away by Luukkonen. Shot fired wide, and now Haig goes back for it. Haig through the middle, trying to find Pooh. Salo breaks that up. Haig throws it in for Pittman, but he'll leave it there. As time winds down here in the period. Gadjevich taking for it. Final seconds now of the period. The puck in behind the Finnish goal, picked up by Salo. And the Finns, who trailed 2-1 after 20 minutes, leave the ice. They had 4-2 after 40, scoring 3 unanswered goals to grab the advantage from Canada. Coming up, our second intermission, you're watching the 2017 World Junior Summer Showcase from Plymouth, Michigan on TSN and the NHL Network.
Steve Sullivan and John Chaika taking in the action from the Arizona Coyotes. It was a busy one for Team Finland, who scored 3 goals and put themselves up 2. Standing by with Mark Masters is returnee Dante Fabro.
Dante, it was a good start in the first period. The second period, things getting away from you guys. What went wrong?
Right now, I think it's just too many turnovers. We had a plan going into the second, obviously up the pace, but with turnovers happening, we were playing our own end all night, and it just can't happen right now. So there's a few things we need to correct before going to the third, and hopefully do so.
On the broadcast, they were talking about how it was so appropriate for you to be drafted by Nashville, not just because you're a good defenseman, but because your sisters play NCAA soccer in the state in Tennessee. Has that helped you with the transition at all?
Yeah, it's kind of funny how things worked out that way, but I grew up loving Nashville, obviously, so for that to happen, and for my sister to end up there as well is definitely special. And when I was there a couple weeks ago at camp, I got to see my sister too, and I hadn't seen her in a long time. So it was definitely great, and it's obviously a great organization to be a part of.
They gave you some tips on where to go, where the party's at in Nashville?
No, not at all.
Thanks, Dante.
Thank you.
Making his way down from Detroit, not too far away, Ken Holland checking in on some of these prospects, taking in some of the action here at Plymouth, Michigan, as we have 2 periods in the books. Team Finland leading Team Canada 4-2. Well, we've got 2 periods in the books here at USA Hockey Arena at the 2017 World Junior Summer Showcase. 4-2, Team Finland leads Team Canada with 20 minutes left to play. And I'm joined now by newly appointed head scout of Hockey Canada, Brad McEwen. Brad, first off, congratulations on the new gig. You've hit the ground running, to put things lightly. How has the transition been? You were formerly a scout for the Calgary Flames.
It's been good, but it's been a quick process. It probably happened, the process probably started 10 days ago, and all of a sudden I was lucky enough to get the position and jumped into Calgary at the U18s on Sunday. Got 3 days of that, and then out here last night, and kind of jumped in here and getting caught up to speed, and it's certainly we've got lots of work to do, but that's what's expected.
Absolutely. Well, recently Hockey Canada named their Ivan Halenka roster for the Memorial Cup there. What can Canadian hockey fans expect to see from that club?
Well, I like our depth. I think that's first thing, is that you look at our back end, and they can really skate, and they can really transition pucks and move things forward, and I think that really is going to initiate what are our attacks all about. Up front, we've got a group that skates well. I think we've got lots of options of what the coaches want to do in terms of line combinations and how they want to attack things. And goaltending to me looked solid. So I like our chances. Obviously, I like where our team's at, and it'll be fun to see where it all comes out.
How important are camps like this for not only coaching staff but scouting staff as well?
Well, I think it's really important. I think you've got to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt, considering that it's in the summer, and everybody's a little bit at different points of their training and everything else. But I think for our coaches to kind of see what personality-wise, lots of different combinations, where guys fit is certainly one of the biggest things that we'll get out of it. And it's kind of we establish the base, and we can kind of make a plan for the fall leading up to naming our camp roster. So it's really a valuable event for us to watch.
With the limited knowledge that you have right now with this year's squad, how do you think that they'll compare to last year's team?
Oh, I think we'll be fine. I mean, you look at the excitement that they created last year and so close. But I think with when we get down to it and get everything worked out, I think we're right there. And the thing is, at the world stage, there's such a fine line between winning and losing, and it comes down to a lot of things, goaltending. So I think we'll be fine, but there's lots of work to be done from now till then to get ready for it.
Yeah, that fine line was seen last year in that
absolutely.
shootout. What an amazing game. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Brad. All the best of luck to you moving forward. A lot of work to be done. Team USA arriving to the rink. They're getting set to take on Team Sweden. That game will be played at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. More hockey action to come from Plymouth, Michigan. We're going to head to Gordon Craig when we come back to set you up for third period action.
As a fan, that's a good question. I remember tournaments with Stéphane Fiset, I think, like the early 90s. I remember him having an outstanding game and Canada winning gold, and so those times were, for me as a fan, the best.
Stéphane Fiset, brilliant in Helsinki, Finland, the 1990 World Junior Championship, and the Finns strike 3 times in that second period. Otto Koivula 20 seconds in, then Salo and Inala as the Finns overcome a 2-1 deficit and now lead 4-2 after 2 periods of play. The one position that hasn't been contested for Canada in selection camp the last few years has been in goal, because Team Canada doesn't want it that way. They've named their goaltenders prior to the camp. They want them to know they've got a spot. So performing well here is pretty important.
It really is. And for Stuart Skinner, 5 goals in the 8-2 loss on Tuesday, and then 4 goals in this game. Now, you can't pin it all on Stuart Skinner, but, you know, you talk about those types of impressions, and, you know, certainly Stuart Skinner, who's a big-time competitor, he doesn't want to have this type of performance on his resume. But, you know, for Team Canada, a lot of loose plays off of a face-off, a quick play. He has no chance on it. This is a pretty good play where Dubé gets caught outside the dots and Salo makes a really good shot. And then just an unfortunate play here for David Quenneville, and this one beats him. And you get to a point as a goaltender sometimes where it doesn't really matter what you do. You just don't feel like that puck looks as big as it should. And for Stuart Skinner, I think after these 2 games, he's feeling a little bit that way. But the one thing I know about Stuart Skinner after having watched him for a number of years, he's a big-time competitor and he finds ways. So stay on the radar with your play for the Lethbridge Hurricanes.
So this is the bulk of the group that lost 8-2 to the United States yesterday afternoon. And regardless of what time of the year it is, you probably don't want to be in the receiving end of 2 beatdowns.
Well, no, you don't. And for Team Canada, we've listened to, oh, you know, it's redemption. They want to find a way after that gold medal shootout loss. Well, how about the Finns? The Finns were in relegation mode against Latvia, so they have something to prove as well. So, yeah, I know it's August and we have to keep that in mind, but at the same time, it is a proving grounds, so to speak, for not only the teams, but certainly for the individuals.
Still to come here in Plymouth today, it's the United States against the Swedes. Just after 4 o'clock local time, McLeod works in, and that shot deflects off a stick and goes just wide. He was trying to find Taylor Radish.
I'd like to see Michael McLeod shoot the puck there. He's got a good shot, and he shows pass way too early, and it's easily intercepted.
Ikonin's shot was blocked. And Girard goes rink wide for Radish. In comes Taylor Radish. A centering pass skips off the stick of Dubé.
See, even that play, get it to the net, and you got somebody going there, get a puck off the stick or a rebound off the pads. Those plays end up being harmless. Under the stick, puck goes harmlessly to the corner, and a scoring opportunity is wasted. It's not like they come in bunches like where you get 25 in a game. When you get those spots on the ice, bear down and shoot the thing.
Face off in the finish zone. Glass steps in for it. Now Ikonin's shown out. The hulking Otto Koivula moves in. Face off won by Koivunen, and the Finns play it out. Back goes David Quenneville for it, the Edmonton native, who was an Islanders 7th round draft pick. Plays for Medicine Hat in the Western League and had 59 points in 49 games for the Tigers last year.
A prolific offensive defenseman. And the general manager of the Medicine Hat Tigers, when David Quenneville was drafted in the Bantam draft, the Western Hockey League Bantam draft, is Hockey Canada's new head scout, Brad McEwen.
On the point, that shot taken by Chalowski deflects off a leg and wide.
He also drafted Cale Makar that year, who was all of 5'6", 125 pounds. So Brad McEwen taking over for Ryan Jankowski, who's the new director of amateur scouting for the Buffalo Sabres. Brad's a real sharp guy and really attuned to what's going on in Canada with the talent level, and got a real good eye. So a real good hire by Hockey Canada.
Brett Houghton works in. Well, the difference, of course, when you're scouting for a national team is the teams all want to help you. Walking in and firing there is Mahura. That shot was blocked in front. And the NHL is a little different. Scouts don't really help each other out that much.
No, they don't. Nor should they.
Yeah, I was just saying. Not really encouraged to give the other teams your information. Haig. Gets along the boards, and Vassinen rather, for the shot that puts high and wide. 4-2, the Finns lead here. Canada will take on Sweden on Friday, then close out this summer showcase on Saturday night here against Team USA, a rematch of last year's gold medal game. And we'll get a look as this progresses, who's playing with who gets 2 games, who gets 3. Nick Haig swings back for it. And the puck loose in the corner. Centering pass by Kompinen went through everyone. Now played back into the corner. Kompinen shoots. That was blocked by Haig. Juha Jaska. That shot floats wide of the goal. Jaska, another member of that 2016 under-18 team for the Finns that won gold in Grand Forks, North Dakota. Long shot drifts down to Dylan Wells, and he'll hang on. We showed you David Quenneville a moment ago, the 19-year-old who's not the only member of his family who's an accomplished hockey player. Of course, brother John is a Jersey draft pick. David's picked by the Islanders, and brother Peter is a pick of the Columbus Blue Jackets, and his cousin is 3-time Stanley Cup winner as a head coach, Joel Quenneville.
What cousin would that be, about 2-3 times removed?
I don't know. It's not direct.
No, I know there's lineage there, but when you look at Joel, when you think of cousins, right? You think about, similar age group.
That shot hit Turkalainen up high, and Turkalainen slowly making his way off the ice. There's a penalty coming now to Canada, and a quick shot taken there, and a chance in front for Arne Talviti. And Turkalainen makes his way off and may have been clipped with a stick, and there's a penalty coming to Canada.
That was a really good save by Dylan Wells. Talviti turns around quick and on that puck, so as a goaltender, you have to read that play and get out there, and Dylan Wells does a nice job of it. It is a high stick
called to Dante Fabro, number 8. It's a 4-minute penalty.
There it is, right in front of the net. Dante Fabro trying to defend. The stick comes up.
The Finns got a 4-minute power play here with 3.5 gone in the third period.
Remember how good that power play was in 2016? It was lethal, and they won the gold.
Aho, Laine, Puljujärvi.
Well, then the second unit was Rantanen and Rupa Hintz. Kapanen.
That's very Kapanen. And the great thing about
Alexei Sorella.
Swung back at the point now. Välimäki playing pitch and catch there with Ikonen. And the point shot by Kukunen deflects wide. The amazing thing about that finish, Keane Craig, was 2 entirely different power plays. 2 completely different looks that gave teams fits.
Well, I mean, you have your power play meeting. Well, you got to have meetings for 2 different power plays. I love it. I think it's really good. I mean, to me, it's that football mentality. Have different sets and work off of them. And
well, they had Laine for the one-timer in that first group, and then they had the down low play with Kapanen on the other, and they were unstoppable.
Oh, it was unbelievable. Juha was running the point on the power play. It was impressive.
Juha will be a key question mark for the Finns this year. He's eligible to play in the World Junior Championship. Of course, he's a Vancouver first-round pick, 5th overall. And he played across, and the hard shot by Ikonen turned away by Well. So will Juha be a Vancouver Canuck, or will he play in London and for the Finns in the World Junior?
you think about if Uelevi is available, they could have 5 NHL first-round draft picks on their World Junior team.
4 on defense, right?
5 on defense.
Sorry,
5
5
defensemen if Uelevi is available.
Right.
Because Vakanainen, Joki Harju, Heiskanen, and Välimäki.
And here's Välimäki with it, a long wrist shot through the traffic. Wells makes the stop, 2:37 to go. And the double minor to Canada's Dante Fabro.
There again, moving the puck quickly side to side and get the puck directed at the net. Dylan Wells does a nice job of picking it up through some traffic.
Second unit comes on now. Inola. Drops that back to Vakanainen. Here's Vakanainen taking the return pass. His quick shot goes off a leg and wide. And Puck-Gonzalo plays it back in the corner. 5:15 gone here in the third period. Finns lead 4-2. That shot was blocked by Phillips. That stung Canada's Matthew Phillips. Now the first half of the minor penalty is over to Fabro. The second minor kicks in and Canada clears it down the ice as Cody Glass got possession. Puck-Gonzalo, Detroit third-round pick. Jim Ken Holland is here this afternoon. This game almost literally being played in his backyard. He lives 5 minutes from here. Jeff Blashill, the Red Wings head coach, is also here. And that quick shot stopped by Wells. Off the stick of Välimäki. Or Kukunen, rather.
Kukunen, who plays for the London Knights, and Dale Hunter, draft pick by the Carolina Hurricanes in the second round. We saw what Sebastian Aho did there last year.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you talk about under the radar because of Matthews and Laine and Mitchell Marner and William Nylander, what they did. I mean, Sebastian Aho had a fantastic rookie season, but
Werenski, I mean, in any other year, Sebastian Aho guaranteed would have been at least a finalist for the Rookie of the Year award.
yeah. And certainly on the all-rookie team, right?
Yeah.
Even William Nylander, Marner, and Matthews and Laine ended up being the 3 forwards on their all-rookie team, and William Nylander, who had a fantastic year, doesn't even make their all-rookie team. Great, great rookie crop last season in the NHL.
Brought in now by Koivula. The Islander fourth-round pick, Koivula. Lays out around 40 seconds to go in this 4-minute power play. Välimäki swings it across. And walking right in for the shot there was Ikonen, turned away point blank by Dylan Wells.
Ikonen gets his head up and he's looking for some type of an opening on Dylan Wells, and Dylan Wells simply does not give it to him. He gets out at the top of the crease and he closes down the net. So now you're Ikonen looking for that spot. There just simply is not one there to be found for Ikonen. Really good, strong goaltending by Dylan Wells.
Five shots for the Finns so far in this extended power play. It remains 4-2. And now the Finns will see that power play end as a high sticking call will come against them with 25 seconds to go in the power play. It'll be Kasper Puck-Gonzalo who goes off.
See right there, the stick comes across. They're in a little bit of a battle, but gotta be in control of your stick.
Canada is 0 for 3 on the power play. This one will start in 25 seconds.
Well, they spent 3 minutes and 35 seconds on the penalty kill, so in a 2-goal game, getting an opportunity here to try to narrow the deficit to 1.
Face off, one back to Girard. Samuel Girard's shot was partially blocked by Una Koppanen. And And Vakanainen plays it up to center ice. Knocked back ahead by Girard. And Gadjevich sent his man flying at center ice. Here comes Gadjevich across the line for Canada. Canada now on the power play for a minute 35 seconds. Who lost the puck? It goes back to Girard. In shoots. That was blocked. And down across with Talvidi. Radek swings it back to Quenneville, and a cross-checking call will go against Canada. Cliff Poo will go off. And slow to get to his feet is Vakanainen for the Finns.
You're trying to get back into a game, and that is a really poor penalty by Cliff Poo. I mean, it's right there. He knows what he's doing. Stick right across the shoulders of Vakanainen, and easy call for the referee on that one. And you talk about discipline. One of the sometimes the lessons that a player has to learn. They don't hurt you here, but the emphasis becomes even greater as you move into the World Junior Tournament.
Yeah, where one bad penalty at a bad time can cost you the tournament.
You see how close the games are, especially as you get into the quarterfinals and the semifinal.
'18 World Junior will be hosted by USA Hockey in Buffalo, New York. It will include an outdoor game between Canada and the United States in late December. Now the Finns work in 4-on-4, and Wells able to make the stop on Talvidi. 4-2, Finland leads. You're watching the 2017 World Junior Summer Showcase live from Plymouth, Michigan. World Junior Summer Showcase continues on Friday. But here today, it's USA and Sweden at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific. Will we see Rasmus Dahlin?
That's a good question.
He's here.
I know he's here.
You know, it's
We're
amazing.
going to see him eventually here. It would be nice to see him against the U.S.
Canada plays the Swedes on Friday. We're told that Dahlin will not dress for Sweden in the next game, but will play probably on Friday. A shot from Lebanon, and the Chicago pick. Rupe Leivinen turned away by Dylan Wells. He's had a strong afternoon in the Canadian goal.
He really has. And, you know, economical, reading the play, finding the puck. No, tidy in front of his net, cleaning it up nicely.
McLeod drops it off for Houghton. In comes Houghton, walks off the wall, works it back in front, sent flying, and a penalty coming down to the Finns as Una Kompinen will go off. And Canada will get a 4-on-3 power play here with just over 8 gone in the third period.
Real good effort by Michael McLeod on the boards, but then Brett Howden, when you attack the net, you draw the attention of defenders, and you back them up and force them into spots where potentially they have to take a penalty, and that's exactly what happens there. But if you want to play outside, General Manager Ken Holland has said it for years. He goes, it doesn't matter how big the ice surface is, if you can't get to the net and attack the net, you are not going to be successful.
Well, and the point that is made about big ice hockey, a lot of people think it creates more offense. If you look at the Olympics, the 3 Olympics played on big ice, Nagano in '98, Torino in '06, Sochi in 2014, much lower scoring, as you see Ken Holland. Then the Olympics played in Salt Lake City in '02 and Vancouver in 2010 on the NHL size sheet.
The bigger ice surface is not a faster game, and it's not a more offensive game.
Now the question is the Finnish ice surface, the hybrid, is that the answer? The 92-foot line.
Well, it's interesting. You know, I look at football, and football has an out of bounds. Hockey doesn't have an out of bounds, and the players are getting bigger. So football hasn't changed its dimensions. They've moved the hash marks in a little bit, but hockey doesn't have the same configuration. So if the players are getting a little bit bigger, can you keep the physical contact and not lose the in-tight play that rewards quickness and rewards quick thinking?
4-on-4 for 35 more seconds, then Canada to a brief power play, an icing called against the Finns.
Going back into history, long ago, the NHL had 6 skaters and a goaltender, and they thought it was too congested.
Right.
And they took off a skater where it was 5, and I don't think there's a proclivity to have 4-on-4 full time, so you have to look perhaps at making the arena a little bit bigger, the ice surface.
Kachuk takes the return pass from Girard. Boris Kachuk. 10 seconds to go until Canada's on the power play. Salo picks up a loose puck. Kachuk lost his stick. Now Fabro picks up a loose puck. Dante Fabro, lead pass for Kachuk. With room, he walks in. And a good defensive play made there by Juuso Valimaki. Canada now on the power play for 47 seconds. The puck is promptly sent down the ice by Koponen.
Canada moving the puck on the power play slow, not a lot of purpose, and it really allows the Finns to get into the lanes, to block shots, intercept passes. Got to be quick moving that puck and breaking down defenders.
Moylan moves in for the loose puck. 15 seconds to go in this power play. 9.5 left in the third period. Cloud comes in. Pivots back in the corner. Feeds back to Fabro. Dante Fabro. Back to Mahura. His shot deflects off the stick. Bounces down in the corner. Moylan kicks that puck ahead for Nurmi. Now Nurmi centers and that shot fired wide by Kukkonen. Yanni Kukkonen of the London Knights has got a strong afternoon for the Finns.
Real smart player.
And now the puck goes out of play. 8:56 remaining in the third.
Well, we've been talking about Juuso Valimaki. He was the captain of the U18 team that won the gold medal in Grand Forks, 16th overall to the Calgary Flames, but smart player, great competitor, wants to make a difference in the game. And when I use Mark Giordano as a comparable, it's more in the way he plays. I mean, Mark Giordano is a very unique player, but Valimaki plays with that same type of determination to try to impact the game in all its areas.
Timmins rink wide for Glass. Now Glass works in. Cody Glass tied up in the corner. Flipped back by Jonathan Ang. Timmins a long shot that was tipped wide by Glass. Now Ang digging for it. Knocked back the other way by Calviti. His shot goes off the stick of Timmins, up and out.
Well, you watch that play by, we've talked about Kukkonen. He's in the neutral zone. Before he gets to the puck, he knows what his chance and what his options are, and quickly, before he gets to that puck, right on the backhand, hits Talviti in stride, and the puck gets deflected out of harm's way. But Yanni Kukkonen, the ability to think at a high rate of speed, mind quickness I call it, he has it. Think about Carolina Hurricanes general manager and Hockey Hall of Famer Ron Francis. Talked about hockey sense off the charts. Ron Francis had that. And you know he values that in players.
Benton tries to poke that ahead. Moved back by Nurmi. 27-18, the shots on goal in favor of the Finns, who trailed 2-1 after 20 minutes, and then scored 3 straight in the second to grab the lead. All 4 goals scored on Canadian starter Stuart Skinner. Gadjevich centers for Benton. And Robin Salo broke that up. And Valimaki pivots back. We talk about his skating. There it is there. Valimaki wheels across the line, shoots it down on Wells, and he hangs on. They called him Ronnie Franchise once upon a time. Now he runs the franchise in Carolina. Ron Francis looking on at the 2017 World Junior Summer Showcase.
World Junior Summer Showcase from Plymouth, Michigan is brought to you by Esso. The Esso brand has fueled Canada's love for hockey for over 30 years. By Nike, official gear of Canada's national hockey team. By RBC, when we invest in youth, great things happen. And by TELUS, powering the network that keeps us all connected.
In the suburbs of Detroit, Plymouth, Michigan, the home of USA Hockey's National Team Development Program, the under-18 and under-17 programs. That program began in the late 1990s as an attempt to bring in the top U.S. players together. And now this is the venue for the 4 countries here, USA, Canada, Sweden, and Finland, to take part in a little summer evaluation for the World Junior Championship. Right off the draw, that's flipped wide by Eetu Tuulila. Big, rink wide for Kachuk. Now brought across the line by Phillips. And Phillips' long shot is gloved by Luukkonen. You can't go to a rink and not see Mark Hunter in the middle. DJ Smith, Toronto assistant coach on the left. Hunter, the hardest working man in hockey. Oversees Toronto scouting.
There's a lot of hard-working men in hockey.
There are, but I defy you.
I will, because I'll tell you what, to label one guy as the hardest working guy doesn't exist. There's hundreds of hard-working guys that sacrifice so much. Hey, listen, I love Mark Hunter. I'll tell you this, nobody works harder than him, but there's lots of guys that work every bit as hard.
You're right. I apologize. But it's
no need to apologize. I think it's good to point out to all those other guys that people don't know about.
It's hard to go to a rink and not see Hunter. That's the amazing thing about it. And
well, you only go to London.
No, I don't go that far.
Yeah.
Oshawa, Barrie. Got to keep it close. Mahura. That shot goes wide. Here's McLeod back on it to Taylor Radish. Radish feeds it back to Fabro and skips off his stick and out.
I know this, and you know this very well too, Gord. The guys that have success, you see them all the time. It's no secret. Whether they're in junior hockey, whether they're college hockey, NHL, where regardless of where they are, the hardworking ones, you see them all the time.
And there's no off-season. Think about, just for a moment, what players who were drafted this year have done in the last 12 months. They probably played in the Holinka tournament last summer. Then they played in junior or college or wherever. Played probably in the World Junior Championship. Maybe the under-18 in the spring. Then went to the combine. Then got drafted. Then went to development camp. Then come to this. Then go to NHL training camp. And likely won't make it, and then go on back to their junior team or their college or their European team, wherever they are. It's a long year.
Sure is.
And there really is no off season.
Yeah, and you make a good point about players entering their draft year. That 12-month period, you know, they come to a camp, they try to make the Holinka team, they go through the whole year playing in the different tournaments, the prospects game. Obviously, you go to the combine, then you're drafted, and then you're all at the development camps. It is a hard 12 months for the players that have just come through the draft.
Valimaki shot goes off a leg. Pooh kicks that ahead and finds Bitten. Up for Pooh. Pooh drops it up with a return pass. He's taken down, and a penalty coming out of Finland. Valimaki will go off as Cliff Pooh of the London Knights was driving the lane and draws a penalty.
You know, you talk about it too. Valimaki, he was the captain of that under-18 team that won gold in Grand Forks. Good play by Pooh, though, because he carries through here and forces the play. But Valimaki, The under-18 team was being honored in a very special ceremony back in Finland last December prior to the World Junior Tournament. He plays in Tri-Cities in the Western Hockey League, which is in Kennewick, Washington. And Bob Torrey, the general manager of the Tri-City Americans, Välimäki, he encouraged Välimäki because he wanted to go to the ceremony. It's a big honor in Finland who they honor the individuals and the teams. He flew all the way over there and he told Bob Torrey, he goes, don't worry, I'll be back to take the bus to Prince George prior to the World Junior Tournament. Bob said, you don't have to worry about taking the bus to Prince George, but it just tells you what these kids do. And for certain players that are far away in Europe, yeah, acclimating to North America, a lot of challenges.
Can you name the Tri-Cities?
Pasco, Kennewick, and I forget the Richland.
Perhaps best known for being the home of Carey Price at the time in his junior career.
A lot of good players came through there. You know, Ole Kolzig played there, Stu Barnes, Damon Lankow. They had 2 first-round draft picks last year, Tri-Cities did. Michael Rasmussen, 9th overall to the Detroit Red Wings, and Juuso Välimäki, 16th overall to the Calgary Flames.
Play called offside of the finish line. The shots are 30-19 in favor of the Finns. They'll be better this year at the World Junior, you'd have to think, even without Laine and likely Puljujärvi.
Well, it's interesting, you know, it used to be Canada took the biggest hits at the World Junior Tournament in terms of players not available to them. We're seeing that happen with some other players now. Clayton Keller, who turned pro, seemingly unavailable for Team USA this coming year, signing with the Arizona Coyotes.
In comes Mahura, winds and fires, tipped in front, they score! Looked like Phillips got a piece of that, and Canada draws within 1 with 4:07 to go here in the 3rd period.
Matthew Phillips goes right through that slot area by the hash marks, and Mahura has his head up the whole time, and this is just a really good play. You talk about timing, you talk about coordination, exactly what it is. Mahura makes an outstanding play by having his eyes up, seeing what's unfolding, showing the shot, and what a great little play there and a redirect by Matthew Phillips.
We mentioned Matthew Phillips, 6th-round pick of Calgary in 2016, a 50-goal scorer last year in the Western League, tied for 3rd in the league with 50 goals in 70 games. Calgary's done okay with later small picks.
Yeah.
Johnny Goodrow's okay. Now Wells down, the puck skips wide, and Dylan Wells, by the way, has not allowed a goal since coming in midway through the 2nd period.
Well, this sets up as a terrific finish in the last 4 minutes. Real good time for players. Again, we talk about impressions. This is the time to really dig in here, show the coaches what you can do in these types of moments.
Shallow looks ahead, the pass picked off by Bitton. Will Bitton centers it, and the pass just out of the reach of Cliff Pooh. Now Bitton back on it. Pooh digs in as well. 3 to go here in the 3rd period. Canada now down a goal, led 2-1 after 2, trailed 4-2 after 2. Zalowski. Plays it back at the point. Here's Timmins with a long wrist shot that hit Välimäki up high. And Välimäki's into it with Will Bitton behind the play as the Finns ice it. And the face-off back down to their zone with 2:38 to go in the 3rd.
I would have to think that the Finns might want to take a timeout here. They've just spent a lot of time in their zone and a tired group of 5.
So Dominic Ducharme checking over the assistant coaches Tim Hunter and Trevor Letowski. Are we going to see the goalie come off? Finns have called timeout. Wells has gone to the bench, and he might stay there for the remaining 2:38.
winning the face-off or making sure you can find a way to get the puck off the face-off. Could make a determination if Wells quickly comes to the bench if they have control, or if they're going to start him on the bench. Looks like it's going to be the latter.
Yeah, looks like he'll stay off for the extra skater to come on. Shots are 31-20, so Wells has stopped all 20 shots he's faced in the game.
And look sharp. Look sharp. Nothing spectacular, but he didn't. When you get yourself into position, you don't have to be spectacular.
Trevor Letowski, you saw on the Canadian bench a moment ago, joins a select group of people who have played for and been on the coaching staff for Team Canada. Mark Habscheid won a gold medal for Canada in the first year of the program of excellence, then was the head coach of the Canadian national junior team. Letowski, we mentioned, won a gold medal in '97 as a player. Dominic Ducharme, this will be his third straight year with Team Canada, an assistant coach 2 years ago, the head coach last year, returning as the head man this year. Face off, won by Houghton. Back to Mahura. In comes Mahura, shoots this short side. The puck goes off the glass, up and out of play, and now the Finns can change.
Yeah, you retrieve the puck, you have a tired group on the ice, and you miss the net. Little things that become big things. And Mahura's not trying to miss the net, but those are the types of little game-changing scenarios that don't allow you to take as much advantage as you potentially could have.
Josh Mahura, you mentioned a knee injury in his draft year, knocked him down to the third round of the Anaheim Ducks. Fabro in, shoot, scores! Dante Fabro sneaks it through, and Canada has tied the game that might have been tipped by Gadjevich.
And Mahura, again, Brett Houghton has won 2 straight faceoffs to keep control of the puck. Mahura there, quickly over to Houghton, quickly over to Fabro, and now there's a lane there. And he gets it right through there quickly. Looks like it goes off the skate of Robin Salo, or does Cliff Koo get it? His head's up the whole time, though. Oh, Koo might have got it with a stick. Gets a stick unchecked. Hard to say. But a real good heads-up play by Dante Fabro. You don't have to fire that puck hard, just get it through, and he does. I think it goes off the skate of Salo.
So 2-point shots, redirect, and Canada ties this game at 4 with 2:25 to go. If the game is tied in the regulation, the IHF overtime rules would apply, 4-on-4. They changed the rule back again.
I love when we have to explain the rules about the overtime.
And then if necessary, a shootout after 5 minutes. And the problem with that is the next game's scheduled for just after 4 o'clock. And the puck skips down to Luukkonen, and he hangs on. There is Boris Katchuk, the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds of the Ontario League. Yet another Tampa prospect playing for Team Canada. Of course, last year the Lightning had 5 players in the Canadian camp. Braden Point, an unbelievable story he became. And then the World Championship.
Back to your point you made.
In comes Howden, now taken down, centers it. Phillips has the puck loose at the side of the goal, jams it and scores! Matthew Phillips sparks Team Canada his second goal of the period, and Canada has a 5-4 lead.
What an excellent play by Matthew Phillips, though, because he's quick and he's going to go to the net. He comes around the back of the net, but Brett Houghton makes an excellent play right here, intercepting the puck, quick onto the spot and finding Phillips, and then the quick stop. And there's no way for Luukkonen to get back to that other post as he's trying to get to the other side. What a great fake here by Matthew Phillips. But Brett Houghton wins 2 faceoffs, makes a really good play outside the blue line to get inside the Finnish defender. We talk about it's an opportunity in a game to show the coaches what you're prepared to do. And Brett Houghton did it with the faceoffs, Mahura and Fabro on the point, and that young man, Matthew Phillips, with 2 goals.
Mentioned he plays for the Victoria Royals in the Western Hockey League. He has not played for Canada internationally before. So, to your point, Craig, the coaches don't know him, the management team doesn't know him. They know his production in the Western League. They want to see it close up.
And now you get to see this, right? You get to say, wow, look at him and scoring goals in 2 different ways. You know, I use the term easy skill and hard skill. A lot of players have skill, but are you going to take that skill and get inside the dots and get inside those hard areas? That's where the skill has to be hard. Some players have skill, but it's easy skill, soft skill, where they're not prepared to get into those areas. The reason Matthew Phillips scores 50 goals is because he gets into those hard areas, and we've seen it here. He's ready to get it to the net and attack.
Former Calgary Buffalo midget, great program in Southern Alberta.
I think that's where Braden Point played too.
I think he did, yeah. Another guy, Braden Point, who showed up in Moose Jaw for the playoffs at 140 pounds, and the players thought, what's he going to do? Scored 3 goals in 7 games in the first round series, including an overtime winner.
Well, I'm always reminded of the story, because Al Murray, the director of scouting for the Tampa Bay Lightning, they were there watching Morgan Riley, who had a knee injury that year.
Now the Finnish netminder, Luukkonen, goes to the bench as Wells makes the stop, and the faceoff will come in the Canadian zone with 1:19 to go in the third.
And general manager Steve Yzerman was there, and Braden had just come up from midget. He was eligible to play, you know, having completed his midget season. And Steve Yzerman kept asking Al Murray, who's this kid? Who's this kid? Because, you know, Steve would recognize skill and smarts and competitiveness. And Al Murray kept telling him, don't worry, he's not eligible for a few more years. Well, when a few years came along, I don't think Steve Yzerman or Al Murray forgot about him. I know they did forget about him because they drafted him.
Shot to 32-22 in favor of the Finns. But Canada has seized a 5-4 lead here with 3 straight goals in the third period.
All with less than 4 minutes left.
Phillips scored at 15:53 in the third to draw Canada within 1.
Just over 4 minutes if my math is 4:17.
Your math is exceptional. 4:07 is when I get technical, but so under a minute to go here in the third, and the puck scrummed along the wall. So now you got to look at who's on the ice. Is Canada holding a lead? Timmins and Fabro on defense. Gadjevich, along with Bitton, that's moved down to the Finnish zone. An icing called against Canada. The face-off back down to their end. Cliff Poo out to take the face-off. You make a note of who the coaching staff wants on the ice with a 1-goal lead or a 1-goal deficit.
Sure do.
Maybe the biggest compliment to a player is they want you on the ice the last minute. Rassinen plays it across and they score! Rassinen feeds it across and it's tucked home to tie the game as Kukkonen equalizes with 29 seconds left in the third.
Again, they win a face-off, and this is what you have to do. The puck is loose, and they win it, and then right there, real nice play by Ikonen, but then Rassinen, he spots Kukkonen, and Kukkonen makes no mistake. Perfect cross-seam pass, quickly off the stick, and behind Wells. 10 goals.
Here comes Radish with it now. Taylor Radish throws that down in the Finnish zone. His time winds down here in the third period of a 5-5 tie. And so Canada comes back, seizes the lead in the third, gives it up late as Kukkonen scores the tying goal, and this game will go to overtime even at 5. The 2017 World Junior Summer Showcase continues with OT in just a moment.
World Junior Summer Showcase from Plymouth, Michigan is brought to you by Chevrolet. Find new roads.
So we explained those overtime rules so carefully, and I got it wrong. The IHF went back to 3-on-3 for this year, so it'll be 3-on-3 in overtime, and then if necessary, a shootout. If a shootout is required, it's 5 rounds, and then single elimination. Got that? The IHF has changed the overtime rules 3 times in the last 3 years. Which is not an excuse, but it's 3-on-3 here in OT. Koivula works in. Otto Koivula. Top set back for Ikonen. And now Phillips. Steps into Valimaki. Valimaki holds, trying to center, picked up by Phillips, and Canada's away. Phillips. Along with Ang, Phillips got tied up, and now the Finns bring it back 2-on-1. Ikonen works it back across, poked away by Fabro, and Phillips counterattacks. He's got Fabro jumping in. Ang across the line, he's onside, drops it back to Fabro. Canada changing as Fabro puts that wide. Koivula drops it back for Ikonen. Finns are changing, Ikonen's up there by himself, and now Radish has it back. Taylor Radish. Flips that puck in, Radish. Holds and drops it back to Mahura. And now Mahura winds in. Tries his luck, he spins and falls in front of Kukunen. Now brought back by Jani Kukunen. Fed back for Salo. To Talvidi. Talvidi for Kukunen. He pivots back, 3.5 to go in the overtime. Talvidi. Drops it back to Salo. Now Talvidi back on it. Radish. Battles on loose puck. It's picked up now by Mahura. He got tied up at center ice. Canada needs a change. Here and now will begin. Now Radish makes his way off, and the Finns bring it back up the ice. Inola pivots back in the corner, centers it. That pass just missed the intended target. Dudala. Now McLeod picks his way across center ice. McLeod works in, works it down low. Michael McLeod spins across the top, still has it. McLeod with a head of steam. Second trip in behind the goal. And now McLeod plays it back in front, finds Dubé. Dylan Dubé. Crisscrossing with Girard. Samuel Girard looks around Valimaki, spins back in front, centers it. McLeod works in, shoots, scores! Michael McLeod snaps it home, and Canada wins the game 6-5 in overtime.
For miles traveled, Michael McLeod deserved to get rewarded. But that nice play again by Samuel Girard. The ability to jump into the play. And then he's aware. He knows what his options are. He's quick. Makes the plays at the right time. There's McLeod freeing up, and Girard makes no mistake about it. And I don't know if it's a criticism, but one of the areas of Michael McLeod's game that I think I think he's a good shooter. I'd like to see him shoot it more, because I think he's more than capable of scoring goals.
So McLeod plays for Mississauga. The Ontario Hockey League has the overtime winner. Canada comes back to tie it up and take the lead in the third period. Surrenders that lead late and then wins it in overtime on day 1 of the World Junior Summer Showcase. Still to come here from Plymouth, Michigan this afternoon. It'll be the United States taking on Sweden. And we'll have it for you coming up on TSN and the NHL Network. For Craig Button, I'm Gord Miller. So long for now from Plymouth, Michigan.